village lost 75 children in a space of 3 days. Here's the confession. There was a white woman who visited a village. She is from abroad, not sure where. But what I was told was to not mention the village or even the province, because this might just put their lives at a risk. What happened was that this woman went to a certain village, and when she got there, she asked for a stand from a community leader, where she built a very big church. She also built a shelter. Not just that, she also had a soup kitchen. As time went by, the villagers started trusting her because she had provided them with jobs, of course, and she was able to feed a lot of families that were less privileged. Now, trouble began when she started involving herself in a crash in that village. The villagers suspect that she has always known what she wanted to do, and they suspect that she used their children as sacrifices. So the woman would donate food, also clothing to these crashes. This one time she decided to donate toys, stuffed toys. When that happened, the kids were very excited, of course, and they took the toys home. They were very happy and excited. This is a village where having a toy was a big deal as a child. So the babies were very happy, and so were the parents. Now everything started to change. The first day the toy entered their homes. At night, they would hear footsteps while they are sleeping. They didn't take it too serious. At first, it was just no big deal and everything. And then it became worse when they could hear cups and spoons in the kitchen. Next thing, it's pots opening and closing. Now they knew right there and there that something was very wrong. But it has never crossed their mind that it could be the stuffed dolls, or toys rather, that are doing all these commotions. Within a week, the house was just a mess. Everybody in the house was fighting. Everybody was just hating on each other. There was no togetherness anymore. There was no unity anymore. They were living like enemies. And this was happening to all homes that had welcomed the toys. So things started being ugly and all that. Now the shock of their lives was, in that 1 week, they lost 75 children, and that's when they knew that it had something to do with the toys. All the kids hung themselves. Imagine a kid hanging themselves. How do you even do that as a kid? These are crash kids. So the kids, I don't know how they got to the ropes. The mothers also don't know. The families don't know how it happened, but they found their kids hanging the next day from the roof. This is a child as short as, I don't know how many centimeters, but this is a very short child. But these children were able to hang themselves. The next day when the parents woke up, the kids were gone. This was happening in different homes. So when one neighbor is screaming for help, the mother wakes up, the neighbor wakes up to go help the neighbor. As she's about to leave her house, she finds that her own child has also done that. So now it's a neighbor and a neighbor screaming about the same thing. And they did a follow-up, and they found out that all these kids are from the same crèche. That is when it started bothering them. But still, they did not suspect the dolls. They just thought it's just something bad happening to the community. It's just witchcraft and all that. They then went to the church for comfort. The very same church. After a couple of days, they started noticing that there's something strange about the dolls. The dolls were now, at night, when you switch off the lights, they would be sitting at one position. The next morning when you wake up, the dolls are no longer at that position where you left them. So that when they started worrying and asking themselves questions, or who moves these toys? And they went to the church. Again, they asked for prayers, they asked for comfort. They started praying very hard for their children. And the pastor still manipulated them and told them that it's their children who keeps moving these toys, because their souls are not resting in peace, and they are seeking for, I don't know what they're seeking for. They did mention, but I'm not sure if it, I forgot the word. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, the pastor made the families believe that it was their children who are doing all these things. Now, the parents need to attend church very seriously. Even during weekdays, they must go to church so that they can pray, fast, and do all those things. The parents did go to the church and followed the pastor's instructions. They did as the pastor said and everything. Now, one day, one of the women decided to go to church alone. It was around 10 p.m. This is one of the women that wrote to us. She said she went to church, to that particular church, at 10 p.m. to pray, because her heart was very heavy. Her home was falling apart. There was no longer happiness at home. She was also always fighting with her husband. If it's not the husband, it's the kids acting in a very weird way, like they're possessed and stuff. So now the woman, as she was praying, she could feel that something was wrong. She was not connecting spiritually with what was happening at the church. And when she wanted to go home, she suddenly couldn't walk anymore. She felt paralyzed. She couldn't feel her feet. So she just laid on the floor and continued praying and praying and praying and praying until she passed out. When she woke up after a couple of hours, it must have been around 3 a.m. according to her. She had gained enough strength. She was able to walk. She was able to move. Then she decided to walk home at that hour. She wasn't even scared. As she got out of the church door, she got the shock of her life. She saw all the 75 kids that apparently passed away playing at the yard, at the church yard. She ran back and continued praying and praying and praying and praying. She also noticed her child amongst those children. Those children were just playing carelessly, so like they were just happy kids playing around and all that. And the pastor was there as well, but she was wearing something very weird. Apparently she was wearing a doek that looks like a Nigerian doek around her waist, and she had nothing on top. Literally nothing. Imagine a pastor doing that. The woman decided to walk out again and face the situation because she needed answers. When she went out, the kids were still there, the pastor was still there, the kids were playing and having fun and everything. And there was a lot of noise, but the noise was not normal. The noise sounded like it's animals, but it was actually coming from the kids. But it was animal sounds. The woman walked towards the children and the pastor. She kept on praying while she was walking towards them. One child noticed her and she screamed. It was a girl, a baby girl that noticed her. The girl screamed and they all disappeared. They all ran away and disappeared except the pastor. The pastor didn't speak to this woman. The white woman just looked at this woman straight into her eyes without saying a word, without blinking, without saying anything. Just looked straight at the woman, and the woman continued praying and praying and praying until the pastor eventually just fell down. And then the woman just walked past the pastor and tried to look for the kids and didn't find the kids, and she walked back. She walked outside the yard. She left. She went home. From the church to home, she kept on praying and praying and praying. She was actually praying for her safety. She was praying for clearness to see and understand what was happening. She was praying for God to protect her. When she got home, she continued praying and she fell asleep. The next morning when she woke up, the pastor was outside. She was there pretending as if nothing was wrong, nothing was weird, like everything the woman saw was normal. The woman didn't say anything to the pastor. She just pretended that everything was normal. But she knew what she saw. I guess with that, the pastor thought, okay, she must have forgotten whatever she saw, or maybe it just slipped her mind. I don't know what the pastor thought. Then the pastor left without doing anything to the woman. That's when the woman gathered all the mothers and told them what she witnessed. The mothers decided to go to the church at the particular time that the woman had said. When they got to the church, they all started praying and praying and praying and praying and praying until it was around 2 a.m. Then they decided it was time to walk outside and see if they'll see anything. The first day, they did not see anything. This went on for like a week. There was still nothing. Some of the mothers gave up and stopped going. Only a few went. When they got there, this was after a month or two. When they got there, they continued with whatever they've been doing and prayed and prayed and prayed. 2 o'clock, they went out. On that particular day, the mothers witnessed what the other mother has been telling them. They saw it all, and they were not strong for what was happening for them. They started screaming and shouting, and the kids disappeared again. The kids were just running away. They ran to the pastor's house, and that's where they disappeared. Like, the women went there searching for the kids and everything. They didn't find the kids until one woman opened the refrigerator. After opening the refrigerator, she found a lot of empty Coke bottles. She wondered what was happening with those Coke bottles. She took one of them, and then while she was walking with that one bottle was making sounds. Ouch, 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 ouch. Then she knew something was wrong. She dropped that bottle, but the bottle did not break. But this was a bottle that was supposed to break, especially at a rate which she threw it at, as she has explained. She ran away, and that was the end of it. So now these women are here seeking for help. These women are seeking for somebody who might know how to get rid of this, how to maybe confront the pastor, because they've never confronted her. This woman wants the church closed. These women want this pastor gone. They want nothing to do with the pastor. But before she leaves, they want her to tell the community the truth. They want her to give the mothers closure at least. So I don't know, guys. Anybody who knows somebody who can deal with such a situation, please help. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my channel.